Hi, Money Magicians. Welcome to episode 51 of the Money Magicians podcast, of the Money Magic podcast. With me is my guest, Lungile Ngubane. And today, if you've just joined, my name is Vangile. I am your host for the show. I help women of color heal ancestral money trauma so that they can fall in love with their bank accounts, increase income, and live their best lives. I'm also the founder of Wealthy Money and the author of Heart, Mind, and Money, Using Emotional Intelligence for Financial Success. You guys can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn under Vangile Makwakwa, and look for Wealthy Money under Facebook. So, wow, we've had Lungi for several episodes now, and she's back. I think I've mentioned this before that she'll be coming consistently to just have conversations with me around things around the body and other things that we discuss in our fitness sessions because it's so incredible. So, welcome, Lungi. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, Vangile. It's always so much fun. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. So, Lungi, what I wanted to actually discuss today is to talk about doing difficult things, right? How do we do difficult things? But before we even jump into that, please can you tell people what you do and yeah, just what do you do? Who are you? Because people, not everyone has listened to your podcast episodes before, so let's catch them up.
Yeah, okay. So my name is Lungi Ngubane, and I really see myself as an accountability partner, but I help women achieve their fitness goal using their feminine cycle. So that's pretty much what I do.
Ah, this is so exciting, Lingy. Um, Okay, so you help women achieve their business goals using their feminine cycle. And I am one of your fitness clients, have been at this point for, I think we're going into month eight.
Yeah.
No, longer than month eight,
My
because I started
goodness,
last
it's
year.
been that
So
long
it's
already.
been like 10 months. Okay, so it doesn't feel long emotionally, but I'm pretty sure my body is like, yeah, it feels
That's
long.
about it.
So I'm gonna talk for my body, not like what my spirit is feeling. Like I'm gonna tap deep, deep, deep into what my body is feeling.
Yeah.
Wow, which is why I wanted to do this thing with you. So guys, just honestly, I've always been the person that okay, so I used to run half marathons. So that was like my athletic stuff, and I hike all the time. And I'm also so I do like intense hiking. I hike up mountains, like some of the craziest, like the most challenging mountains in different parts of the world. Just not Kilimanjaro, and definitely not Everest. I'm not going up that route, but like I do quite a bit of hiking. But these are different muscles, right? And then I do yoga. And honestly, I prefer yoga. And with the hiking, my way of hiking is I would, I'm okay with taking the whole day to get up the mountain and resting every few seconds. So hiking for me is a fun experience, right? It's like awesome. Then I started working with Lungi, and the whole idea was like, how can I get stronger? Okay, that's a real side from my soul, guys. Because the workout sessions with Lungs had me crying. The first 3 or 4 months, I think all I did was just cry and cry and cry during every session. And that's not because so much of the exercises, but because I was heavily bullied as a child at school. So from high school and primary school. So some of the things that we had to do reminded me of some exercises that we did in PT. So like I'd end up crying because all these memories that I associated with these workout exercises would come up, and it was really difficult for me to do this. So I just want to talk through that, Lungs, for people, because for me, this was actually one of the most difficult things to do because A, I was learning new exercises, and B, I was constantly being triggered. In the middle of an exercise, we had to then do a lot of stuff. And I don't know if I would have been able to do that with any other trainer because there was no shaming, there was no pushing, there was no get up, don't be a baby about it, push through it. it was with such utmost gentleness that I was held.
Please hold on.
So I'm very, very grateful for that, for one. And I know some people have never had this experience, have had experiences where we're taught to push through things. So can we please just talk about the gentle factor, especially when someone is doing something new? And we're going to use this in fitness, but I'm hoping that as people are listening to this, they will learn to take all this into other areas of their lives, like how to do difficult things. And for
Mm,
me, this was extremely difficult.
mm,
So, how do
mm,
you work with clients that are like me? And Hugh, it's not just the physical difficulty, but it's also the emotional and psychological difficulty of doing these things, because to really even do something as simple, like, for example, the jumping, skipping, things like that, I would be like, oh my God, in tears, guys. I'd be
mm,
on the floor, a puddle, and just be like, oh my God, all these memories are coming up. And this is what people would say to me. I'm surrounded in the school ground. I would literally be triggered right back into there. And for years, I couldn't understand why I refused all sorts of strength training or any other kinds of training apart from hiking, running, and also just like yoga, because we didn't do yoga at school. So yoga has always been my love.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I really like that you highlighting what you had already been doing. And you know, it's such a crazy world that we live in, because it means that you have always been into fitness. I mean, going up a mountain does take a lot of strength. Yoga, I always say to you that a lot of other exercises, you do them with ease because you already have
Mm,
that strength from your
yeah.
yoga. So but in our minds, you always thought, I can't do this, or I can't do gym. This is what I can. So there's been like a distinction. Whereas I see a nice bridge between the two. Like you've always been into fitness. And when you are into fitness, obviously there's things that you will be very good at. And there's things that will be a little bit challenging. And I really think that what worked for us in terms of approaching your workout session was just taking it in chunks, you know. Yes, instead of me asking you to do 100 burpees, we would really focus on doing 20 burpees, and give us, let's do 5 sets. So we would take it
Yes.
like that, and at the end of the day we tally up, and you're like, wow, what did we do today, Lungi? I can't believe we did 100 burpees. But it was because
Yeah.
the focus was not on the big number. And number two, the focus is not on, okay, so now we have an hour, we must finish. It
Yes.
was more of a approach of, where are you? What are
Mm,
you feeling? Which I think that is a question that is not asked enough in our space.
mm,
You know, so for me, it's for me and my team, or the people that we work with, it's always important to say, what are you feeling? What's coming up for you
mm,
now? And that doesn't mean we're disturbing our workout session. It's
yeah.
all part of the workout session. That's how
Sure.
it's worked for
But
us.
that's the thing. Like, and I would tell you, Lungs, I can't believe it, because part of why it took me so long, and actually, this is no joke. I don't know if I've ever told you this before, but I started in, because I started doing a lot of inner masculine and inner feminine work with Mary Lou, right? In our coaching session. So, guys, if you haven't seen that podcast, I don't know what, I'm going to quickly just check what podcast number it is, but I know it's in the 20s, right? So for this, I have to actually put on my glasses, because I'm going into the back end. So podcast number 25, go check it out. And I interviewed Mary Lou, who was my relationship coach for 2 years. And in 2020, at the beginning of 2020, we started to do a lot of inner masculine and inner feminine work. And my inner masculine asked me to do more training, like gym training, using my body to get stronger, not necessarily like lift weights, but he was just like, just get a fitness trainer and then just get stronger, you know? So,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, what trainer am I going to look for? So what I was very, very clear on is I want someone who is so emotionally intelligent, because my thing is that I know that I get very emotional with things. So I don't want someone who shuts me down. I was like, it would also, I remember having this thought. I was like, it would be so nice to have someone who also incorporates the womb and things like that. Honestly, I didn't think this person was out there. And then you were there, and you were just like a money magic student on top of that. I was just like, oh, this is just like God just like put this in my path, because I know it's something that my spirit wants to do, but I need to get it done. For me to do it, like I really wanted someone specific. So why is it so important to do the emotional check-in, especially because if you think about gym, and when we do hard things, we just do it, just
Yeah.
ramp yourself up and do it. Don't be a ninny about it, because that's the idea, that like if you do an emotional check-in, you're being sissy or whatever. Like everything about the feminine is so it's so derogatory. Most times it's seen as like a weakness, but why is this such a key strength when you're doing something difficult?
Mm. Yeah, I mean, sure. Like what you're saying is so deep, because I don't know how it came about, but for some reason, it's almost like there's an assumption that
Yeah.
this is the hard approach is what works. But
Yeah.
in terms of when emotions, like for me, what really makes me cry and what really makes me get emotional or
Mm.
angry is running.
Mm.
Like for me, running really, it just brings about my childhood memories. I have a lot of fear around my kneecap twisting
Mm.
and all that. So for me, when I'm running, I need compassion. So
Mm.
these feelings or these emotions, they don't just come from nowhere.
Mm.
um and you in your teachings talk a lot about the body keeping score, and how fear, or sorry, trauma stays in the body. So
Mm.
even during exercise, when there are exercises that we're going to do, it's different for everybody, that will bring about different emotions or different, let's say for example, extreme anger,
Mm.
and it's important for a person who's training to identify that and be given space to express that.
Yes.
That it's not personal, it's not about you as a trainer, but more than that. I know when anger comes up for you, you identify it and then you say, I need to scream. That I know that it's not about me. But imagine
Yes.
working with someone who doesn't understand this, and during
Yeah.
the training, I start swearing or I start
Yeah.
crying, then the response that I get is, okay, so what do you want now? Do you want us to stop? Are you gonna be a
True,
sissy
because
about
they also haven't done their trauma work, they haven't done their emotional intelligence work. So, and I think that's the thing. We're not understanding that as we're doing fitness, because now people understand, okay, yoga will bring up memory, or will bring up memories in the body because it's yoga, but it's working with the body. So why would fitness also not bring up those same things? So you'll find, and we've seen this, right? We're like, fitness trainers get angry at their people, and their people get angry right back at them, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And also, Jay, I mean, if a person is feeling like crying,
Mm.
I find it strange that yes, we need encouragement at that time, but the tone, the whole thing. Come on, let's push, let's push, let's push. I don't know. I feel like that thing only makes worse. What
It
you
does.
so yeah, so we try different approaches. It doesn't mean that we stop and not continue in the middle of our workout session.
Yes.
We've never been too stringent on we said an hour. Sometimes we've only
Yes.
done 45 minutes and I know it's enough for today. Sometimes
Yes.
we've only done 30 minutes and I know it's enough for today. And sometimes we can do it an hour and 15 minutes or an hour and 30 minutes
Yep.
because had to take it in chunks and chunks, and it's lower chunks.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, the work is done.
Yeah.
But
Because
listening
I'm
to.
not the same person every single day, right? And like we're talking about different exercises do different things for me. So, guys, when we started, my God, all the core workouts, I would end up having a pillow. Like I would literally just in the middle of the workout grab a pillow and just start screaming, or just like be in the middle of the workout and just burst into tears and just cry and howl and just scream. And I think the beauty of that was that I never ever felt like I need to hold it in until after the session. It was like I got to bring my full self into the session. And like the beauty of that is that Lungi never, and because of that, because I never had to internalize anything, I was always so aware. Like Lungi would say, Van, tell me where you are feeling it. Tell me what's coming up for you. Just cry through. And I think most of us are not taught to go inward and into the body. So what we learn, what we think is that because I'm feeling anger right now, this anger is towards the fitness trainer, right? So then we deflect it. And I've had that happen a lot with clients when they start coaching with me, right? They like, as we go deep into the trauma stuff, it's like, I cannot stand Vangile, right? And it's like, and then I'll say to them, okay, I know you're angry at me. I can see it on your face. I can hear it in your tone. I can hear it in your behavior. But can we just sit with that anger? I want you to tell me where you feel it. And then, like, I'm able to guide them where they're feeling it. And then they realize, actually, the anger is from this particular trauma incident. But because it's harder for me to really feel into the anger and the pain of the trauma, I've just basically started to send it out to someone else, right? Like it's transference. I'm transferring it to another human being, right? And we do that a lot. You'll find like a mom is angry about her financial situation. She goes to the shop afterwards and she's not even aware because she hasn't processed it. But 2 hours later, she has an outburst shouting at her son or at her significant other, right? And it's like over something tiny. And it's like, what happened? Well, actually, the issue was that you were unaware that you were being triggered by spending money at the shop and your fear of losing money. And it just festered, festered, festered. And then the first person that came through that like upset you in some way, you completely screamed at them. And it had nothing to do with them. It's just that, but the thing is, we don't even know. And for most people, we're not even keeping track of that. Like I remember my one cousin was dating this guy and she was like, I always snap at him at various points when we go shopping and I spend money. And I said, I want you to start noticing, are you snapping before, during, or after? And then she was like, oh my gosh, I noticed that it's not just that I'm snapping at him after we go shopping for, or whenever we spend money and we go shopping. I am also extremely exhausted after spending money, right?
Yeah.
So all the energy leaves me. And so anything that he says after that is just an extra, it feels like extra work for me to have to interact with him. So the best thing is to just for me to snap so that there's no conversation, I don't have to interact. Right. So
Yeah.
she didn't notice this because she wasn't paying attention. And that's why I'm like, I love going within. Right. So let's also talk about like what have you seen when people, because a lot of times you'll say to me, Van, breathe. What have you seen when when clients are going through really difficult times and
Mm.
you actively guide us? I mean, you're a womb, you work around the womb. So obviously your trainings are always going to be a little different, as I'm sure people are hearing. But
Yeah.
tell us about like what you learn about what you've noticed about bringing the body in, not just for fitness, but like how you guide us to say, where are you feeling it in your body? And let's breathe through this.
Mm, mm. Because how I mean I, I really would like for anyone who's listening to this podcast to realize that breathing is almost like a reset button, you
Mm,
know. So when there's something that is really, really difficult, it's like if let's say a cupboard is broken or is locked and you're trying to open it and it just wouldn't, and you get angry at it, you can end up breaking it. But if you hold back and you say, "Yazi ngizobuya with this thing," then by the time you come back, chances are you'll be able to open it. So that's how I see breathing as well. It's almost like ukuthatha amandla. To ukuthatha amandla, you need to fill your body with, like, take a deep breath. Just calm your body down, calm your nervous system down. Look at this thing differently again. Be in your body and acknowledge to feel in what are you hearing, what's coming to my mind, how can I do this? How can I approach this differently? So breathing really, really, really just resets the tone. It's like it changes the tone altogether, and therefore will change your attitude and your approach towards what is perceived to be a difficult exercise.
This is so powerful.
Yeah, so that's what I would say towards that.
Yeah. So, Lums, what have you noticed about getting people in their bodies when they're going through difficult things, like when we're feeling that anger? You know, where I'll be like, oh my God, right now, Lums, I'm so angry. Guys, like there's so much that comes up in my sessions. I have range for emotions, right? Because I do a lot of emotional, of the money magic work. So I'm always like, my emotions are there, like I feel them.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know, bring back that question again.
So I'm saying, like, what have you noticed? What difference does it make for clients when you do that? Not just for myself, but for all your clients when you get us to come into our bodies. So let's say like we're like 20 minutes into a workout session and we still have another 40 minutes to go. And then now we're like feeling all the feels, right? You're asking us, so how are you feeling? What's going on with you emotionally? We're in the feels right now. And then you say you guide us through to feel into our bodies during the workout session. What do you notice happens after we felt into whatever we're feeling in our bodies? Right? Because the idea is that you're working out. Obviously, it's gonna burn in your thighs and things like that. But there's a different, I think, until people have done it, there's a different workout sensation that you get, and there's a different sensation that the trauma is bringing up. And we learn the difference through as we do the inner work and as we work out with looms. There's a distinct difference. So what happens what do you notice about the clients when they're like, we have a few more minutes to go, but who?
Okay. Yeah, I really love some of the aha moments that come when you allow a person to stop and breathe into it, and when they are comfortable and feel safe with the space is safe to tell you Uguti, what is coming up. I mean, so in so many sessions we've had a person just say, you know what, yo, what is happening right now, this is the same thing as it just reminds me of Toluti. It's something, it's a situation that the client is currently faced up with, and they've come up with a solution during the training session, or they've come up with the, oh, now I understand why I reacted that way that time when such and such happened, or there's such heaviness in my heart, and this exercise is really triggering me because now it's like but then they realize what heaviness is there in the heart. So I really think those are really beautiful moments where we are able to see that ngempela, as they say, in sometimes in difficulty, it's always for you, in the fear, it's always for you. So once you figure out why am I experiencing this discomfort, then the answer is always for you. Always for you. Yeah. So
Mm.
that is just, I don't know what else to say, ngaphandle kwalokho. And obviously, when we then go back and say, okay, let's carry on, then it's always like, wow, today's session was like so powerful. I'm gonna go back and implement that, or I'm gonna go back and journal more about that, or let me question myself about this and this and this. So the work
Yeah.
carries on. We
Yes.
close the session, but the client maybe remains and she continues with her breath work, just to
Yeah.
honor ukuthi
Yeah.
ukuthi my people came and this is what was communicated through this session, and I'm so
Yeah.
grateful. So not whatever it is that you believe in, God,
Yeah.
the presence, the spirit, the universe, it talks to us ngeyindlela engafani. And even through fitness and the work that we do, the same
For
thing
real.
happens for us. Yeah.
Whew, this is so, so powerful. I love that
Mm,
you said that because, what I always found strange is like Lungi will say, "Oh, I have this entire agenda for us for the fitness training session." And then she'll come and then she'll be like, "Nothing I did today was on the agenda." And I'll be like, especially on the days when I have my breakdowns and breakthroughs in the sessions,
mm,
it's usually like the entire agenda will change. That's when
mm,
you know it's going to be on. It's going to be lit. There'll be tears. There'll be all sorts of things. So I love that you talk about like how you're bringing all of your gifts in. And
mm,
I think this is why, so this leads me to my next question because I think because of all the trauma work that you do, you're extremely trauma informed because you've also done womb work courses, you've done courses, you've been doing the money magic course, you've been just doing your certified personal trainer. So you've got like all these incredible tools, right? So it makes it awesome for you to because so you know what it is that you're doing, you know what it is that is happening when a client is unraveling. You're not just pulling it out of thin air because I feel like this is very important to talk about, that like often we're not aware that we're re-traumatizing another human being by asking them sometimes, not all the time, because
mm,
sometimes lungs will say, Vangile, now you can just do, So it's not every time that I'm allowed to just, so sometimes she's like, okay, this is like not the real thing, now you're just complaining. There's nothing here that's coming up. Please,
yeah.
can we just do the actual thing? You can really keep going. And she has
Mm,
this thing where she talks about giving yourself 5 minutes of courage. So I want you to talk about that because the 5 minutes of courage is completely different to when I'm having my breakdown. And I think having a trainer that understands when something is the real thing, and
mm,
Lungs always knows, guys, like this is one of those things when you're working with someone who knows what the heck they're doing. It's like, and then like there's the times when I'm just like, oh no, no, I refuse. So let's talk about the importance of the 5 minutes of courage because I've actually started using that in my work where I just say to myself, okay, give yourself you minutes, you
mm,
know? So
mm,
explain to people listening to this how you
mm,
use it. Maybe tell us the story behind that. How did it come about?
mm. Yeah. Well, I just think ukuthi sometimes into obhekane nayo becomes so challenging, so difficult. You know how they say it becomes kuba mnyama kakhulu before kuzokhanya.
Yeah.
So I
So
really
guys,
think.
translated, it's darkest before dawn.
Yeah, yeah, thanks for that. So in that moment, all you need is courage, because it means ukuthi you've done the most already. If our session, for example, is for an hour, and we are 55 minutes in,
Sure.
and but when you're 55 minutes in, you feel like, yo, no, I've been doing this
Guys, that's what
forever.
I'm like. I'm like,
But
look, like I just need
yeah,
to just get in my bed right now and forget
right,
that we have
right. Yeah, so all you need right now is just like just a few more seconds of courage. And really with courage for me, it's like asking, even just asking my body, oh, to
Yes.
please. You know it will feel good once we get there. I'm not telling you to do it like to sprint through it. Can you just put one foot in front of the other? Can you
Yeah.
just get off the floor? Can we just stand up again? Can we just have a little bit of courage to get through this? And I really find Uti, that approach also has a sense of compassion to it, because it acknowledges that you've already done a lot
Yeah.
that is difficult. And now it's just a little bit more that's left for me to be able to get there. So yeah, that's how I relate with courage. Sometimes I need a lot of courage myself in my sessions when I'm training, and I'm always it's that it's like a request to my
Yeah.
body, and ask to my body that please, we're almost there. And you know how it feels like when we finish the session. I mean, sometimes I will give, I remember there was a day where I gave in and I said, okay, fine, let's just do 10. And
Yeah.
in all my sessions, not just you, when I say, okay, let's just do 10, when we know that we were doing 20s,
Yeah.
everybody says, no, we've got 20.
Yes,
Everybody
we
says that.
all like I do that a
Yeah.
lot. I always do that a lot. I'm like,
Because,
physically,
yeah,
you're like, okay, I can't do the next 10. So
exactly.
I love that. And it goes back to what you're saying about taking things in bite-sized chunks. Because honestly, like I tell you all the time, a lot of the things that we do in the workouts, I didn't think I could do them. And you always like, but Van, you do yoga, you're able to do all these things. But I'm like, again, I feel like it's interesting because most of us have been told what we can do in the context of gym or whatever as children, and we were teased about that, right? So, guys, just to give you an example, as a child, I was a very, I mean, you can also imagine, like, I wake up now at 10 a.m. as an adult. I work like 4 hours a day. I need a lot of downtime, alone time. I was similar as a child. I
Mm,
needed to, so in my podcast interview with Polite, you guys can look at it. I think it's episode 7 or 8. You guys can check it out, where I talk about what my mother told me, what I was like in the womb with her, right? Like I never moved. I was very much all about stillness. Like, I only did things like I only moved on the last day when I decided to turn, you know, like not on the last day, in the last week, and everybody couldn't find a heartbeat. The doctors couldn't find a heartbeat for me, and they didn't know. Like they told my mother that her pregnancy was psychological. It wasn't
sure.
real because the only person, she was the only one, and sometimes my dad, that could ever feel my kicking. I would never
Mm,
kick when the doctors would like pat her looking for a heartbeat. Nothing. So my mom had no gynae appointments, nothing, because nobody believed there was a real child in there and it was a real pregnancy. So it was just her knowing that I'm there, because once in a while I'd let her know that I kick. So she's told the Money Magic students the story before when they come for the retreats at the house. So that
mm,
is like basically to say that as a child, I was that child. Like I get into school, I sleep, PT, people are running up and down for physical education. I'm just like, okay, I do the bare minimum, So I didn't just expand energy out of the blue. And it was really hard to get me to do things just because they were part of the rules.
yeah.
I've never been that kind of person. So it was really, and even as a child, and apparently from the womb, I just was not about doing the most for no reason. you know
Mm,
so like I literally did things because there was a purpose to it. And so at school everyone would call me gefrek, which means dead alive. So
mm,
like they would always say, "Jy so gefrik," you know. So I was always like being called that and being told that at all times. And then my teachers, so the students would say, the kids would say that, as kids say, and say all those things, and the teachers would say that. And I think I told you this before in a session where there was a teacher where I'd walk into her class. I was in grade 3, so I must have been like 8 years old, and she would start screaming that the gates of hell have opened because I've walked into a class. So there was always like, so my bullying was coming from all angles, right? So I grew up with that, that you just can't do these things because everyone has told you that you're gefrek. So the things that I could do were things that were not part of my primary school or not part of my high school. At high school, we didn't, at St. Mary's anyway, we didn't do marathons. So I didn't get to, so I didn't have to be, I wasn't really faulted for that, in primary school too. And then, like I said, yoga wasn't part of the curriculum, so nobody got to tease me or call me gefrek in that context. We didn't go hiking up mountains and all that. So those were safe things. But when it came to our workout sessions, that was definitely a highly unsafe environment, which brings me to my next question to you is, how do you create a safe environment for clients? Because I feel like you do that so well with all of us. So how do you
Mm-hmm.
create a safe environment?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, to be honest, this is why what I do is not about messes. I could never be a virgin active, for example. Why? Because people's stories and people's experiences matter into
Mm,
how we run or how we roll out our work. I'm reading a book written by Oprah and some of her other co-writers, and the book is titled "What Happened to You." And it's such an
mm,
interesting book because she talks about childhood trauma, and they say, you know, it's how often do we get asked what's wrong with you. You know, we
yeah,
always get asked what's wrong with you, but
yeah.
the question is what happened to you.
Mm,
Because once we ask that question, then you know, as you share with us the experiences, what people were saying
mm,
when to 8-year-old Vangile. Those are some of the things that happened to you, and so it makes sense um, today that lezo zinto lezo are still there, and sometimes they come up again, they resurface in the working sessions, because what we bring to your front is for you to challenge yourself to do things that got you mocked
yeah,
when you were growing up. So, what happened to you is critical
yeah.
for me as a trainer to understanding how to approach the workout sessions, and therefore making the environment or the space safe. So I also think that you know, we always say that get a trainer, an accountability partner, but it's important that that accountability partner is actually someone that you gel with energetically, is actually someone that you respect.
Mm,
Respect is a big thing. I
yeah,
show up for our sessions all the time because I respect you. I respect your time.
yeah.
You show up for, for my sessions all the time because you respect me, you respect my time. Like, we just know between us, it's our unspoken rule that we don't just cancel. You know, rather we can move a session to a later time. We always find somewhere. By the time we say we're canceling, we know that there's a big reason, and all of that creates a safe space.
Mm,
It means that one day when I say to you, I can't train you today because I just my energy, my levels, I'm not there. I don't wanna bring you half of me. You
yeah.
know what I mean. You know that you wouldn't create
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not just a safe space for you, it's also a safe space for me as a trainer, that we
Mm,
both get each other. That's why I'm saying to you that it's also important as people find. I mean, if you don't want to train, fine, but assess what type of gym am I gonna go to? Does this gym care for me as a person? Is it, is the personality of the gym mine? Because there's many gyms. I feel like, yes, other brands have got bigger pockets, big, they can market to, it's hard to miss them, so we automatically all join them. But there are smaller gyms, and find a place that works for you, that harnesses and appreciates who you are, and your voice is heard, because that's going to make you reach your goals much easier. You spoke about purpose. What's the point of just training because everyone is training? What is the purpose? Why do I want to do this? That question is very important for you to know before you start. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So I really, really love what you said about accountability partners. I'm also very interested in hearing your experience. I'm going to share my experience of working with you. Like the thing that I've said to Lungs throughout, you guys, is that I think I would have, if I was doing this on my own without her, I'd have quit in month two. Or there's like a bunch of exercises, or maybe I would have being like, oh yeah, no, yoga is still the only kind of exercise that I can do during lockdown. It's perfect because it's the one that felt comfortable for me, right? I know what to do when it triggers me, and I know the exercise, the poses I love that I'm working on, all that. But a lot of these poses, like I said, the way that yoga approaches fitness is a little different than when we're doing the strength training and doing the gymming, which is so important for some of the yoga poses that I want to get stronger in as well, right? So I believe in like mixing and matching things. So what I said to Lungs is that first thing, I think because of the difficulty of some of the things, not because they were so difficult and impossible, but because of what they were bringing up emotionally, I would have quit, right? I would have stopped. And most of us sometimes think that, and I was saying to you, I was like, Lungs, I wonder how many people quit gym and think that they don't like to exercise, not because exercising is difficult, but because it forces you to go into your body. And going into your body means feeling the things that are stored in your body. And that is hella uncomfortable. And so we don't want to do it again. Right. So that's the first thing. The second thing is the waking up factor.
Yep.
And winter. This is the first time I do winter in like 3 or 4 years, right? So I feel like I have shocked myself. We're now like a month away from spring. And like I have shocked myself that throughout winter, I have literally woken up and kept to the routine. The reason for that is that I know I do not like waking up before 10 a.m., as you guys have already heard. So, like most of my meetings are before 10 a.m., but 3 to 4 times a week, I will wake up at 7 a.m. to do the workout sessions with Looms, right?
Yeah.
Because again, safe space, it's I'm understanding that this is more than a workout. Like that, what Lungs does with her clients and with me as well has been way more than a workout, right? I mean, you guys have heard me interview Sis Pumla in a previous episode. We talk about the acupuncture that she's done with me. A lot of the things that came up that drove me back to weekly acupuncture, even before I came back to South Africa in Sri Lanka, was the workout sessions with Lungs, right? They were bringing out so much, and I was like, I can feel it in my liver. Like, it's so funny. Like, I can literally pinpoint where in my body I feel things because I've been doing the Prajna meditation for so long, right? And I do so much of the money magic meditation. So I was like, this is where I'm feeling it, and this is exactly what's there, and these are the sensations. And of course, Lungs would ask, she'd be like, tell me what sensations are there, feel into it, what sound does it want to make? Do you want to sound it out? But anyway, I digress. The accountability partner is the fact that I have done the waking up because of that. And I've said this to you, I'm like, I cannot believe I'm keeping up a fitness routine in winter because when I would come to South Africa and I'd have winter, even my yoga workout sessions would never happen because it's winter. I want to sleep in, you feel sluggish. But I've literally worked out throughout winter.
Yep. You did.
Oh my gosh, guys, like I am so amazed. And I tell Lungi all the time, I'm like, I feel the difference in my body. I feel how much lighter I feel. I feel like how I can stretch more. I feel light. None of
Mm,
that heaviness and grogginess that comes with winter. So
mm,
what's
mm,
it been like? What has been your benefit of having an accountability partner, or I mean, obviously a trainer? I've seen this with having a business coach, right? Having money coaches, having trauma coaches. This is why I'm constantly doing the work, because I
mm,
have someone that holds me accountable to keep
mm,
doing the work and to keep doing my healing. But what's
mm.
been your experience of having accountability partners?
So a few things came up. A few things came up as you were leading to the questions, and I'll just touch a little bit on some of the points. The other day I spoke about. I was talking about. I was reminding my friends what it feels like to have a crush. When you have a crush. When you have a crush, everything is extreme. You have an extreme like of someone.
Mm,
You can't hear what they're saying. You just see how beautiful their eyes are, or maybe you think, oh, so they just intelligent, but you know what a crush feels like, né? But if you just wait it out before you embarrass yourself and say, go, declare your undying love to this guy, if you just chill. Like I always say, just give yourself 2 to 3 months and see if you still
mm,
feel the same way, or if this guy still looks the same way after that time. A lot of the times, it's like, he's not even that hot. He's not even,
mm,
things start to really make sense. So what does that mean? Like I made an example that winter brings about extreme emotions, be it of resistance or this is what I'm going to do. So let's say you have a serious um, resistance towards training in winter. It's a season.
yeah.
Just like a
Yes.
crush, it lasts only about 3 months. Just like a crush.
Yeah.
Like after that, you're gonna start seeing things different.
Yes.
So
Yes.
imagine just making big decisions like, no, I'm just gonna eat fat cakes. I'm just gonna, it's winter. We're all just hibernating. I'm just
Mm,
gonna, I'm not gonna move. I'm gonna sleep the whole day. You put your plans aside because
yep.
of a season. But here's the thing. We live through seasons anyway. So
Yes.
summer is gonna come and then it's gonna rain. Then your reason for not training is gonna be rain.
Yes.
When you lose the opportunity of actually running in the rain and being wet, and you know how beautiful that is. Or your
No, not
excuses.
really, but I know how you feel about these things. So,
Yeah,
okay.
I do. Or your excuse is gonna be, I can't gym, it's just too hot. Our summer is so dry in Joburg. So your
Yeah.
excuse is gonna be, so you kind of you it's like we teach our minds like seasons
Mm,
are there. There's no surprise. We
yes.
all know that seasons are there. Seasons
Yeah.
are there even in terms of our cycle and our womb. Seasons are
Mm,
there even in terms of our business. It's not
yeah.
always gonna be summer in your business. Spring is gonna come, winter is gonna come. You don't stop because of a season,
Yeah.
so that's how I view it. And then,
Mm,
the other thing that I've noticed of late is that there's a lot of resistance, and people have also used online training as a good reason not to train. Or let
yes.
me not say on let me say COVID and what's currently going on as a good reason not to train, because well, the gyms are closed now, so
Mm,
wait for the gyms to open. Well, now we are on a wave, so we wait. But there's online opportunities, and I really think that I want to challenge you to, just really, really, really look at what are the real reasons that I don't want to train online. Because the thing is, what is at gym that is not here at home? Okay, maybe
whew,
it's
I love that.
maybe it's a treadmill. Maybe it's the leg extension machine. Okay, what can I do that is identical to that do that at home. So what
Mm,
online training does is that it challenges you to use your own body. You don't rely on anything. You don't rely on the machine to up your speed. You don't rely on loading things so that it can be heavier and heavier. You really, really, this is the one way of working out that makes you go inside your body. And a lot of people get agitated because I can't lift my own body to do this. I can't
mm,
hold this position. I can't jump that much. I can't step up that much. So it also goes back to that thing of being in my body is really, really uncomfortable, because if I'm just pushing something, it's different, man, to trying to lift my body off the ground and I'm
yeah,
struggling like you do in a position of a push-up, for example.
yes.
If you do a push-up right, coming up is really not that easy, because you
Mm,
have to use your arms. You have to build the strength of your arms a lot. And there's many more exercises that I can think of where just working with your body is even harder.
yeah.
So really, I just want to challenge people to think about the reasons why there's so much resistance to online training.
Sure. Wow, this is incredible. So, Luz, you've given us so much. I feel like I want to just ask one last question before I ask how people can get hold of you. You give us exercises to do. So, guys, as you can see, this like Lungi's training is really an incredible thing, right? There's certain things that she does. I don't want to give away all her secrets of what makes the business so incredible,
Thank
right?
you.
But you also give us exercises to do, emotional exercises to do offline after our training sessions. So depending on how the training went, you'll leave us with particular exercises. So what would you say, what exercise or even journal prompt or whatever would you give to someone that is terrified, like I was, of gym stuff, and maybe even has a little bit of my history? Maybe they were teased around who they were, that they couldn't exercise, that they were not a fitness person, all those things. And even though they lies, like, but they still feel it, or they feel resistance towards just working out and developing a training a session. What exercise would you give to someone to just work
Mm,
on themselves? And I think give a simple exercise, please, nothing too complex.
mm, mm. Well, you know that obviously it differs from, as you said, from each session in what was coming up. But I find that one exercise that really um, whew, challenges not just a lot of people in terms of their like mental strength really is burpees, because burpees is just that exercise of ukuthi, it's it, it's your whole what do you call it, it's a full body workout, ngaleso sikhathi leso.
Mm,
And for you to be able to put your body on the ground, lift your body up, jump, it's a lot. And then I ask you to do that so many times, it really takes a lot. But other than that, also just taking time to wind down and look at the session. So what are those things that came up for me? Oh, I really believed that I couldn't do this exercise. Now I can do this exercise.
mm,
I mean, you were incredible. Like now your handstands. The other day I was telling you that then your squats are on another level. So those are the things, also that as a trainer, you don't have to be good at everything.
yeah,
There are things that even though Mina I come in I say I'm leading the session, but I show you when you do this 10 times better than me. It's
yeah,
okay. It's okay.
yeah,
So give credit. Let's highlight. Let's lift one
yeah,
another. I really enjoy doing that in
yeah,
my sessions, because I find that we have different strengths. So in
yeah,
our journaling, what are those things that when I'm journaling about my workout session, what are those things that I thought I couldn't do, but I'm actually learning that I'm really good at? What are those things that I was afraid to do, but now I am doing? What are those things that I last did it in 2010 when I was 20, but now I was able to do it again. I thought I had lost the skill. So I really find with the exercises and the like the journaling really helps us see our goal in terms of reaching our
Yeah.
goals. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So, Lungs, you've been so gracious and so generous as always with us. Please, can you tell us how people can get hold of you, start working with you? Do you have any spots for private clients right now, or is it just the boot camp that you've got?
At the moment, I don't have spots for one-on-one private clients, but I do have spots in the group workout sessions.
Can you tell us
Um,
about
if
those?
do have spots in those. So those sessions we only meet online. We work out on Tuesday evening and on Thursday evening, and then we usually will hook up for different hikes over on Saturday. So just watch out on my Facebook. I go as
But then you
myself.
have to be in Johannesburg for that. What if people are outside of the country?
Yeah. Now, if people are outside the country, well, we are looking at hosting online bootcamp sessions as well.
Yeah.
But at the moment, it's at the moment we are able to meet, but definitely we're looking at that option of doing online bootcamps
Mm.
for people who are not in the country.
Okay. So, guys, definitely hook up with Loons. If you're out of the country, I know she's working on a yummy thing, like she was doing virtual womb work sessions as well for people that are in the boot camp. Are you still doing those for boot campers, Loons?
Yes,
People? So,
yes.
wow, you guys get to do workout sessions in the group with her, and you get to do the virtual sessions, virtual
Mm,
womb work sessions with her. So it's just so beautiful. And I know that you go deeper, everything is linked to the workouts as well. So super, super powerful. So how do people get hold of you? Because I know people are like, oh my gosh. Actually, let's just put it out there. How many spots do you have for the boot camp? Do you have a limited amount of spots or do
at,
you have
yeah.
open spots?
At the moment, for the boot camp, I've got 10 spots
Okay.
available. That's about it. Yeah.
Okay, so guys, you still have time to sign up, right?
Mm.
What I will say is I'm super glad I took the one-on-one sessions and signed up because now, like the thing is that once Lung's clients sign up with her, we don't leave. Like I have no intention of canceling my workout sessions with her ever. So yeah, this is it. Get
And
on to the
thanks for
boot
that.
camp.
Thanks for that reminder, man. Because honestly, like I just am a firm believer of, if you like us, stay. If you feel guided to be elsewhere, it's okay. So
Mm.
all my clients never signed things that bind them to 6 months or 12 months.
Yes,
It's
we don't sign
okay. Just
contracts, guys. We're just like we are on, right? And also,
exactly.
like, I don't want to make the mistake of saying, "Oh, I'm gonna leave," and then someone else can take my spot, and then like I find out that that other person is like me, and it's just like I'm here forever now. Sorry, sis. Like, it happens. These things happen, but this is what I love about working out with you, Loons. It's like I think that is also a testament of the power of your work. Is that like I've
Thank you
been with
so
you
much.
for well over 10 months now. I'm planning to stay for a few more years, right? And it's like, and the fact that it's virtual, that for me is incredible. And now you're starting to work with people outside of South Africa for your one-on-ones. That is just powerful. It's like, and it's a testament of how powerful your work is that we can do online stuff and we stay and we're just long-term clients.
Mm,
And I think because of that, like what I just said, it's like it's as our bodies are getting stronger and changing, we're also noticing a shift in our emotional response to things, and we can link it to the workout sessions. We're like, oh, that helps.
so much.
So how do people get hold of you? So someone is like, yeah, this is the real thing. I want to be part of whatever's going on here. How do people get hold of you?
Thank you so much, Van. So my page is Just Do You on Facebook, and then
Yeah.
on Instagram I am Lungile Red. Yeah, and I also go as myself on Facebook as Lungile Ngubane, but please rather use the Just Do You page or follow Lungile Red on Instagram. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Lungi. This was such an incredible
Thank
podcast. I
you.
know people got a lot from it. So, guys, what I want to encourage you is to remember all the various things that Lungi shared about checking in
Mm,
emotionally, what happened to you, why may you be behaving like this, like dividing things into bite-sized chunks when we're doing difficult things. We often want to do it all at once because it's really challenging. I know this from like being an entrepreneur and doing things. It's like I'm like, I just want to get this task out the way. I don't want to have to keep coming back to it over and over again. But yeah, just doing that and just being patient with yourself, creating a safe space for yourself, right? Working with people that create safe spaces, accountability partners, right? This is why I have so many different coaches in so many different areas of my life so that I can just keep going. And I can tell you guys for free that, like, being part of coaches, being part of coaching programs, being part of courses, especially where my coaches know exactly what's going on around trauma. This is why I also worked with loons, right? So you guys
mm,
can tell, I don't think I would be where I am in my workout journey if I had a coach that was like, push through it, a trainer that was like, push through it, just go,
mm,
go, go. I needed a different type of support system. And I know who I am as a person. So I create the support system that I need to be
mm,
able to succeed in that area that I'm dealing with, right? In almost every area. Even with my chefs, it's like, I want to work with chefs that are like, oh, we'll go research the vegan thing around this. And I can like complain about, like, oh, I don't want this kind of food that is used with this kind of fertilizer. I want more organic. Can you get me this? And it doesn't feel like, oh, she's so extra. Like, I feel
yep.
heard, I feel loved, I feel nourished. So get
Mm,
yourself those kinds of accountability partners, get yourself into those kinds of communities, get yourself, surround yourself. I think we have a higher chance of doing difficult things when we acknowledge the whole of ourselves and we can bring all of ourselves into a space. And I'm so grateful, Lungi, for being one of my teachers
oh,
for this, so thank you so much.
oh, thank you. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Van, just because you also my teacher, in the Wealthy Money, as a Wealthy Money student. So I've said this before, that thank you for being the leader that, that's able to shift and gives and create space for others, because it's not just with me, there's so many of us. You were never that leader who wants to appear as if they know it all. So thank you for that. I really appreciate being here, and I appreciate this moment.
Yeah, thank you. So, guys, if you're loving this also and you're like, ooh, money work, like, okay, I want to get my fitness on board. I want to also do my money work, right? And you want to do work around money trauma again, the whole of you comes into the space, then definitely check out the Money Magic course. If the course is not open for registration, just get on the waiting list at this website, wealthy-money.com/money magic. Again, wealthy-money.com/money magic. And if you are loving what this podcast is about and you're listening to us on iTunes, please leave us a 5-star rating and leave us a review, leave a comment and review us. And also leave us comments on Podbean and on YouTube.
Yes.
And of course, please share this with your family and friends. Check out all of Lungi's other podcasts. So we've done a podcast now on episode this. I'm sure I'm going to miss one, right? Episode 21 and episode 28, and somewhere in the 30s or the 40s, we have another episode with Lungi as well, right? And yeah, I also mentioned Polite's episode, episode 6, where we also do womb stuff, and Putanang also in episode 7 shares some of her womb journey as well. So if that is interesting to you, and our womb in the Money Magic course, we do have womb teachers. We have 2 resident womb teachers. Every Wednesday they teach about the womb, and now they do live Zoom sessions that are free for all Money Magic students on Wednesdays, and we're doing more in-depth work around working with the womb, like working with the cycles of the womb, building a business based on the cycles of the womb. So there's a lot of juicy stuff that happens in the Money Magic course. It is absolutely incredible. So thank you so much, Loons. Thank you so much, Money Magicians. We will see you again next week.
Bye.